Hi everybody, welcome back to Starfield Raw. I am Joe the Widget, and I am joined by my fellow hosts after a week of drooling for this game to start. And I am joined as always by the man with the master plan, Rook.
What's up, everyone? I am ready to get this episode started.
And we are also joined by our fellow host, the cool, rude dude, Mr. Archon.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Got not quite as much to bring to you today, but we're still going to have a good time, and we're ready to go.
We got a bunch of random stuff to go over. GamesCom, it started this week, so there was only a couple little tidbits that came from that. We'll get into those. There was different things going on in the media. We'll talk about that. Rook has some good, insightful thoughts to go into, and we got a couple of emails. So we're going to start with the one thing that Rook promised he would do on the last episode, and that's the timeline.
All right, thanks, Joe. I've been waiting for this for a while because this is the first game I ever played that's actually released a timeline from the devs before the game released. And usually it's like fans, after a while, have started piecing together all the lore. And
fans have been doing some crazy stuff with this, too. Like, they did the whole star chart map. Based off of like 5 seconds of video.
Yeah, it's amazing though. Modern technology makes it so easy to find all this stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I'm wondering if they're being prophetic here, because they say at the start of their timeline starts in 2050. And they did 10-year intervals when they were developing the game, so that way they had a story that they were trying to fill out when they started the game.
And
2050.
Yeah, that's actually a reasonable assessment. Seeing as like SpaceX wants to have people on the moon, or not moon, the Mars by 2027.
Yeah, that's possible. And 2050, I think, would be more realistic than 2027. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And then 2100, it jumps 50 years, goes 2100. Humans are living in space. How cool would that be?
And that's a 50 years jump. I think that's possible with how fast technology has been advancing. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, it's 2023 right now, so that's only a 77-year jump.
Yeah, unfortunately, that won't be in my lifetime.
I hope to be alive. I won't be. I'm giving myself a 2050.
If that's the case,
hopefully I make the 2050.
Right.
I'll be 117 years old. If I feel as good then as I do now, and I'm still alive.
Yeah, you never know how technology can advance. Medical technology can suddenly cure cancer and aging, and average lifespan will be 120 years.
That would be amazing. But this ain't Star Trek.
No.
Then they go on to 2156. We arrive in Alpha Centauri, which 100 years based on our jump, I think, is possible. Then they jump ahead 3 years to 2159 when the United Colonies are founded. And then 1 year later, New Atlantis is founded. So one of the starting cities, or one of the big cities, was founded in 2160, which is about 150 years or so before the events of the game.
137 years.
Seems pretty crazy that in about 100 years they figure out how to make it over 4 light years away, because that's how far Alpha.
And my question is, though, at what point did they figure out faster than light travel?
That's the thing. They never point that out in this timeline. So I wonder if it's going to be lore based in game.
Because we could actually get to Mars without having faster than light travel. It just takes a couple months, but we have that capability now. So yeah, maybe it happened in that time between 2150 and 2050 and 2100, I meant.
Yeah, it had to have, especially if they start living in space.
Because Alpha Centauri's hundreds of light years away. Or was it 1,000? Something like that.
It's 4.37 light years from Earth.
Oh,
you are
lower
way...
than that. I was so off. Wow, I failed. Thanks, Archon, for giving us the facts.
Just a little off there.
But even then, those light years, it would take like half of a lifetime to get there without faster than light.
Yeah, if not longer.
Yeah.
Let's see. 2167, Cheyenne is founded, and in 2188, the Freestar Collective is founded.
And a lot of these names are going to make a whole lot more sense when we get into that game in a week and a half. Well, by the time you guys listen to it, 1 week.
Yeah, we've talked about the Freestar Collective, so
We have. That's going to make a lot more sense when we're getting involved.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually excited. I'm going to jump. I'm not going to read every little piece of this, but it's like I'm going to give you all the major points. Like the founding of the Freestar Collective was in 2188. 2196, the first war between the United Colonies and the Freestar Collective starts. It's called the, I can't read my own handwriting.
I have that problem all the time.
It's one of those situations where the UC tried just taking an area. Let's see, 2121, or 21. Sorry, I can't count to read my own handwriting today. God, I hate gel pens. 2216, the war ends. So that was a 20-year war. Oof.
Yeah.
2221, the Freestar Rangers are founded. Constellation is founded in 2275. The 2307, the Colony War begins. And in 2311, the Colony War ends.
And
I don't remember
it
what
is
they...
singular, not plural.
Yeah. It is one war. One colony. Yeah, it's the way the timeline reads, though, when you actually read all the details, makes the United Colonies sound like 2310, Constellation finds the first artifact. And then the last note I wrote down, because it was near the end of their timeline, is 2315. You see the United Colonies Vanguard founded, and it's a civilian navy, so I wonder if you can join that in the game.
Knowing Bethesda, most likely, or you'll have some kind of involvement with them.
Yeah, but that's a lot of stuff to pack into a very tight area.
all this talk about how like they want to point out the fact that there's only been one colony war leads me to believe that in some point during this game we're going to experience another one.
Yeah, that's actually a very, very valid point. I didn't even think about that till now.
So they didn't call the first one a colony war, but the first one was the first war was started because United Colony positioned a star station called the Clinic in orbit around the Dipala system, or the Dipala planet, and the Narian system, and that starts the first war. That causes the Narian people to vote to join the Freestar Collective, and then that starts the first war. And then
that one wasn't really according to the timeline, that one wasn't really called a colony war. That was called the Narian War. So it only takes place in that one spot. It wasn't like a whole colony.
That is true. You are right, sir.
So that might be why they like to point out that there was only one colony war.
So
this is true.
By the timeline, we're actually going to be picking up in the story about 300 plus years from now.
Something like that. It's the 2300s when we. I want to say closer to the mid 2300s when we start.
Yeah, so just over 300 years.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything about quantum jump technology. Or not quantum jump technology. Sorry, I'm mixing my games. I haven't seen anything about wormholes yet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing to discover in the game. Oh, I can't wait. We're a week away.
Well, based on what I'm seeing here, I see Barrett joins Constellation around 2305. And then in 2328, Barrett convinces Constellation to purchase Star Station L868 and modify it to become a deep space scanner nicknamed the Eye, which means Barrett is still in Constellation. We've already seen him in the trailers, so I mean it has to be sometime shortly after 2328 where we're picking off, because otherwise he'd be too old to still be there. He doesn't seem too awful old in the game from the gameplay we've seen, so...
Yeah. I'm liking these lore conversations. This has been interesting.
Oh yeah, they dumped a bit of lore before the game starts. Like they actually tell you when people have joined Constellation in this timeline.
I'm kind of one of those players that normally gets into these kind of games and just goes for the action. You know, goes through combat to combat. Oh yeah, you're saying stuff, whatever. Moving on. But in this game, I'm actually very interested in the lore and what they're going to do with it.
I'm the guy who sat there and played Fallout series and actually read the computers.
I can see that.
Yeah, no thank you. I didn't even do that one. I just hacked them, got what I needed, and left.
Right.
Well, I like the lore, but Bethesda throws a lot of lore in their games. They think it out really well, and they throw it in there.
A lot of side lore. Oh, tons and tons of side lore. And this is being the new IP. They have free reign to just do what they want. And in one episode, I think it was 2 episodes ago, episode 3, we talked about, I think it was Rook that brought it up, or was it Archon? I always forget. But when you guys brought up the fact that maybe this fits in the future of their overall universe that they've created.
Yeah, that was Rook.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me because I saw a video where they're talking about the plants in the game, and one of them looked suspiciously like...
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really curious to see if they're going to have lore that kind of ties in with Fallout.
Guys, you know what's really cool to think about is that 1 week from the day this episode launches, 1 week from when we release this episode, we'll be playing the game.
Yeah. So I'm going to let you guys know right now what our plan is. So we're going to be releasing episode 6 next Friday. Like we planned, it's going to be a shorter episode. It's going to be our last pre-launch episode. So what the guys and I have decided to do is we're going to record again a 0.5 episode. We'll be recording it Sunday night, and it'll be 6.5, which will be our first impressions and the start of our gameplay. No spoilers. We will not be doing that. And that will be launching that Monday morning.
The 4th.
The 4th. So we'll have...
Actually, no. We decided we were going to... Were we launching it Monday, or were we launching it Tuesday? Because Monday's the holiday.
Either way, it'll come out Monday or Tuesday. You guys will find it. We'll finalize that later. We'll have a 0.5 episode. So those 2 episodes will be kind of like one episode, but 2 separate timelines. One pre-launch and then one at launch. And then we'll do our regular episodes every Friday like normal, but we'll actually be getting into our actual gameplay every episode. And then talking about the lore we're discovering and all that good stuff.
Now, very important to clarify, we all 3 got the premium edition to play early, so that's why we're going to be able to release before the official launch date.
That is correct. Thank you.
Which they kept saying that the game was launching on the 1st for early access, but that's like overseas on the 1st. So we actually get it at, what was it, 6?
The 31st, yeah.
6 o'clock on the Eastern time on the 31st or something like that?
Well, it's 5 p.m. Pacific, so that would be 8
5
p.m.
Pacific. Okay, so 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific is when it actually launches on the 31st.
Right.
So, needless to say, Thursday night, I don't think I'll be getting any sleep.
No, I'm going to be loading up on a whole lot of caffeine and get a lot of goodies and snacks. I don't want to be making meals. And I have the 1st to the 6th off. And that's all I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be playing golf and I'm playing Starfield. Sleep is only an option.
You can golf the week after. What?
Yeah. What are you doing, man? You don't golf during Starfield's first week.
Right.
Unless there is golf in Starfield, there is no excuse for that.
If there is, you guys wouldn't hear from me again.
Except for when we get together to make these episodes.
Right. Hey, guys. I'm seeing things in my room.
Another reminder just to throw out there that when this episode launches on Friday, when it airs, we're also going to be putting up the poll Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Probably in the morning for my character and what you guys want me to play. I am going to put a little stipulation. I've been thinking about it this week and stuff. I am going to put a little stipulation on it. In order for me to do this, I have to get at least 50 votes on the poll because I don't want this to end up just playing what one person votes me to play. So like there has to be like a general consensus. So I want at least 50 people to get out there and vote.
Now, is this just overall or just for one topic? So do you need 50 on one pick or is it just 50 overall?
50 overall votes. And I'm going to take whatever one has the most votes. We're basically going to throw up every backstory starting thing up on there, and everybody's going to get a chance to vote. So
that's going to be a
second
voting.
question. Can me and Rook vote?
I mean, will I be able to? I don't think I'll be able to tell who voted. I'll just see numbers, won't I?
Yeah, maybe. I think it might be safe.
But
I mean, no, I'll do that to you.
Let's create our 50 other accounts.
Since the game goes live 8:00 Eastern time, which is my time zone, the voting will stay open. We'll say until 5 p.m. on the 31st Eastern time. So 3 hours before launch.
All right.
Is when we'll close voting, and that's what I'm going to play. Whatever we come up with at that point.
So
that's what
get out there and vote.
So vote. Make it fun.
And you'll have to talk about that for probably like a month or so of episodes.
Yeah, the more fun it is, the better, because, I mean, this way I'm going in totally blind. I won't know until 3 hours beforehand what it is I'm going to be doing. So I'll have very little time to research what to do. So,
all right.
That's going to be dangerous.
Let's get it.
So I was browsing around YouTube a couple days ago, and I saw something that really caught my interest, and I started watching it. So I sent the link over to these two. It was Adam Savage from Mythbusters. He has his own little YouTube show. It's called Adam Savage's Tested. And he got in collaboration with Bethesda, and him and his team are building an actual model replica of the starting ship. And they're just doing it from a game file. So the first episode they show, they're actually doing all the 3D printing and doing a dry put together. It made me so excited for the game.
Oh, yeah.
It was actually really fun.
I follow him on Twitter or on YouTube, so I already saw it.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's actually pretty cool.
Check it out, guys.
Saw it and you didn't share it with us? What the heck?
Right? Dude, I thought we were friends.
Right?
I thought so too.
Shots fired. So yeah, they just did I think it's like a 4 or 5 part series they're doing. They're releasing it every week, so check it out. I'm looking for the next one when they start doing painting and all that good stuff. All right, so there was a lot of news going around because I think it was the beginning of this week. They sent out 2 weeks prior, which is kind of unheard of for games to do this. They sent out the influencer or dev copies, not dev, press copies for review. They did this 2 weeks prior to game launch, so that means 1, they have full confidence in this game, and 2, Pete Hines had mentioned in an interview that they wanted to give reviewers enough time to actually get a small sense of what the game is like. And if you do it 40 hours of gameplay, it's just not going to happen.
And guess what happened? Oh. Go ahead. Of course, gameplay got leaked. So if you don't want spoilers, be careful what you open, because gameplay did get leaked. They took it down off of like YouTube and stuff like immediately, but people managed to record it and get copies of it, and so it is out there, so be careful.
Yeah, they've been taking them down really quick because those NDAs are no joke. You can get in very serious legal trouble by breaking these NDAs and the embargoes. They're very, very strict about it. They're not allowed to say anything until August 31st at 12 Eastern. That's the earliest they can say anything about their play. And that's right before launch.
Well, one thing that several of them have mentioned, though, and I thought it was a pretty cool point, was several of them have mentioned it's not a spoiler, so they were able to say it and not like get hit with the NDA or anything, but lots of the people who have gotten their hands on this have said that they've made it like 17 hours plus into the game and haven't ran into a single bug, which if you know Bethesda launches, that's super high hopes right there. Like
that's
hearing
promising.
that makes me very happy. It's very promising to hear that they made it that far into the game and no bugs. So
I would actually be really upset if they did have bugs, especially if the rumors on how long they've been working on this game is true.
Right.
Well, I mean, every Bethesda game that's launched so far has launched with bugs, but the fact that they made it this far into the game and haven't ran into them yet, that's...
I would imagine the first 40 hours of the game is going to be highly polished to try to avoid that. Because the first impression of the game, the first 40 hours, is what's going to make or break it. Actually, the first 10.
So you're saying I'm going to run into bugs after about 2 days?
Possible, but I think they're going to be just minor bugs. Like maybe some minor graphical glitches on maybe the pre-gen worlds, but I don't see them having a lot, which is unusual because Elder Scrolls Online was played with it, Skyrim was played with it.
Why do I feel like I'm that guy that Sunday when we record our little 0.5 episode, I'm like, well, I'm 43 hours into the game now after 2 days.
And the game crashed.
My eyes are bleeding, but that's okay. I'm getting some eye drops later this afternoon.
Sadly, I won't be that engrossed into the game because of work, but I'll still be getting my videos out there.
I'm going to be sitting here, Mom, poop!
Jeremy, it sounds like you're starting to come down with something. You might be sick in about 10 days.
Right.
Very specifically, 10 days.
I can hear it coming, and like it sounds like it's about 10 days away.
It's a new strain of COVID called Starfieldia.
Starfieldia.
And it's very specific on when it hits.
And it only hits for like a week.
And the funny thing is, a lot of these influencers have been going on Twitter complaining about lack of sleep. Most of them have been complaining and griping that they have had no sleep in the last 3 days.
All into your boss. I'm sorry, I have COVID September 1st.
Yeah.
No COVID strain.
I'm not as young. We're not as young as we used to be. So staying up and binging this game all night is going to be terrible on us.
I did it with Diablo 4 when it came out. I was up until probably 6 a.m. or so. So I could do it.
When I was younger and a new game came out, I would binge that game. Let's say, Halo 3. I binged and completely ran through that game for 3 days straight before I tried sleeping, and then after that, nope, not again.
Yeah,
I'm really bad with television shows. Like,
oh yeah,
the new season of Cobra Kai comes out and launches at like 3 a.m. Pacific time, and I'll stay up and watch the entire season before I go to bed.
Cobra Kai is awesome.
I sat and binged every episode of NCIS with only sleeping. There's 20 seasons.
Jeez, I was gonna say that's a ton.
Yeah,
and only slept for about 4 hours each night just so I could finish watching that. Hey, it's one of my favorite shows.
There's only a few shows I'll do that for, like Stranger Things or Cobra
I didn't really care for Stranger Things. Uh-oh, I'm going to have hate mail now.
What?
I saw 3 seasons.
What?
It was okay.
It never really kept my attention long enough for me to keep watching it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Now I hope my daughter doesn't listen to the podcast. She's going to send you hate mail.
I mean, it wasn't bad. It just, I don't think personally it was worth the hype. But that's
You're no longer going to have that endearing fan.
All right. All right. So, Inside Gamer. One thing I noticed is that a lot of these different major news sites, they all picked up on the fact that there was a lot of these leaks going on. And then even if they caught them, they were all very, very good about it, saying, we're not going to spoil the game. We're just not going to do it. But Inside Gamer had a really good quote that was not a spoiler, but said a lot about what they saw. And they said, we're not saying anything to spoil the game, but even in these awkward leaks, Starfield's gameplay looks absolutely fantastic. It's almost impossible to notice that it's locked at 30 frames a second on the Xbox Series X and S at times. And the animations, scenery, environment are brilliant.
I mean, that sounds good to me. I feel bad for the Xboxers that are locked at 30 frames per second, but if you don't notice it, then
what's the point? Yeah,
that's not too bad. I mean, yeah.
I mean,
go ahead.
Being locked at 30 frames per second, as long as your graphics are coming through well and you don't see any pixelation or anything like that, you're golden.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 30 frames a second is fine if it's smooth. You won't see anything. You won't even notice a difference, even at 4K.
A lot of us older generation gamers that are super excited for this game probably can't see past 30 frames per second anyway with our old eyesight.
Yeah, like 28.
I'm not going to say anything because I got decent eyesight.
I'm going to be getting a new monitor. I have a new curved monitor. I'm going to get 31 inches, not 4K, but 1080. But it's going to be at a 200 hertz refresh rate, just so I can geek out on this game.
My 144 hertz refresh rate's fine for this game.
Yeah, but my current monitor, it's a 28 inch curved with, I think it's like 75 hertz, which is nothing. So it's not as good. It's not where I want it to be, so I can take in all the awesomeness.
I love how we're sitting here in these days and age when we grew up with CRTs with crappy refresh rates, and we're talking about how 75 ain't good.
Man, when I was a kid, I was lucky to get 10 frames a second on a Super Nintendo.
I don't have curved monitors, but I have dual monitors, and I like them.
I actually want to get the Samsung's Galaxy monitors.
Oh, those are so nice, but they're so expensive.
Yeah, but if you get 3 of them,
side by side, it's a 180-degree view continuous.
Which would be incredible, and I can nerd out about that completely. Get one of those really comfy chairs. Oh, there's something on Twitter. I didn't put it in the notes. But they had this, I don't know if it was a joke or it was a real thing, but they went and Bethesda tweeted about Tempur-Pedic and them partnering up. And they had this incredible setup, like 3 monitors with a Tempur-Pedic chair built into it. And I was like, oh, I want.
Dude, could you imagine playing Starfield in a setup like from Ready Player One? You're like on the multi-directional treadmills and all immersed.
Talk about getting in shape.
Dude, I would love it. That would be so much fun.
I'm pretty fit, but man, that would just do the rest of it right there for me.
Heck yeah.
Suddenly you hear about all of the hospital visits because kids are
right.
Kids can't keep going.
Children at healthiest they've ever been.
So guys, there was this. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like when the Wii first came out, suddenly there was like a surge in like kids getting healthier because they actually had to move to play it.
Yeah, we need more of that.
Or Pokemon Go when people are outside.
Go. Oh my gosh.
For the first time in ever.
You know how many miles a day I walked when Pokemon Go first came out? Until I figured out how to hack it to where I could just sit in one place and move my...
Yeah.
Then I was good.
My son got really into it, and he got me into it. And, we went on many walks.
Like, yeah, there's a gym right down the street.
Let's go to that gym. Let's go take that one. There's one 5 miles away. Let's go.
Just remember, the most important thing to remember is lazy people will find the most ingenious ways of doing things so they don't have to get exhausted. So figuring out how to hack the game is perfect.
Coming soon, Starfield Go. There's a galaxy right down the road.
Oh, boy. I'll get my mountain bike and go do it. So there was this news article that I found very, very entertaining. This gentleman by the name of Mark Kern, he was a former Blizzard employee. He was a dev on Diablo 2 and World of Warcraft, but then he got fired. So he went and worked for Red 5, who made Firefall, and got fired. So he saw the simple start screen, right? And had to put his 2 cents on X. He said, the start screen of a game can reveal a lot about how rushed the team was and how much pride they took in their work. Starfield's start screen either shows hasty shipping deadlines by a passionate team overworked or a team that didn't care. So he got flamed.
Yeah, or it shows that they put the time and effort where it mattered.
How about when you guys read what the awesome Pete Hines, the head of publishing at Bethesda...
This has been out in the news multiple times in articles, because I read this multiple times. Or they designed what they wanted, and that's been our menu for years and was one of the first things we settled on. Having an opinion is one thing. Questioning out a developer's care because you would have done it different is highly unprofessional coming from another quote-unquote dev.
I feel like there's a reason why this guy's been fired from 2 different studios.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. And fired from a bad game. But I've met Pete Hines a couple times in person, a couple times actually, and I've got into some conversations with the guy. He is really, really cool guy. I like him a lot. If you ever get a chance to meet him, talk to him. He's a lot of fun. And he doesn't pull punches. He does it in a professional way, but the underlining shots fired is always there. I love it.
Eat Hines.
He reminds me of Wendy's on Twitter.
Yeah.
Wendy's is great on Twitter.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to have Pete on this show.
I had him to have any of the devs from that game on this show, to be honest.
Yeah, I interviewed him on one of my previous podcasts, and the guy was so much fun to have on the show. Pete, come on.
Back.
Let's do it. Anytime you want, man. We'll do it.
Hey, speaking of Pete Hines, he also said during an interview that he's at over 150 to 160 hours on his current gameplay, and he hasn't even come close to the end of the game.
Yeah, that was during the GamesCom interview he had.
That is just 160 hours, and he's not even close to the end.
The key to that is my current gameplay.
Yeah, tell me
how
more.
How many gameplays has he had?
Yeah. He claims that there's over 1,000 hours of gameplay in this current version. Well, you already did, but take my money again, because
right.
Dang, 1,000. Like, you think about it, like buying the premium edition, you're like, wow, $100 for a game, but $100 for 1,000 hours of entertainment, and that's just one gameplay. That's great.
That is unheard of.
Great.
Skyrim, you can beat everything in that game in between 300 and 500 hours.
Thousands of hours? Oh my god.
Think about this, guys. Think about this.
10 cents an hour.
There is 168 hours in a week. That's with no sleep, doing nothing else but playing the game. So, it would take you 2 weeks without sleeping to complete the game? And not doing anything else but play the game.
Yeah, your math's a little off there.
It is a little off. Sorry.
It is way off.
Way off.
That's like 8 weeks.
8 weeks,
doing nothing but playing.
I got the math correctly in my head for the how many hours in a week, but yeah, I completely dropped the ball on the rest of it. Anyway, you'd be half dead in 2 months, or you would be dead.
You'd die doing something you love.
My awesome point just got destroyed. Thanks, guys.
Just a disclaimer out there. Make sure you lots of posture checks and lots of water.
Yes, bathroom breaks. Get up and walk.
Touch grass every now and then, and it's good.
Especially if your old farts like Widget. Make sure you get up, walk around, so we don't get those blood clots forming.
Watch it, Sonny. I know where you live.
You don't want to get you definitely don't want to get a blood clot or end up a little geriatric because you didn't move enough.
Right. No, I lost. Well,
see, that's why I need to get everybody. I forgot the name of that treadmill. The Omni. We got to get everybody the Omni. That way they can keep moving while playing.
Right.
Nah, that's too much work.
Okay, Rook. So you had a couple more points you want to get into. What do you got, man?
So you play Skyrim, and you look down. What do you see?
The ground.
Exactly. You don't see feet. You don't see a body standing there. Starfield does this right, or not Starfield. Star Citizen does this right, and I'm hoping Starfield does it when you're in first-person view. I hope that when you look down, you see a body instead of just empty air. I've seen that too many times, especially in Skyrim. More recently in Skyrim. Where you look down and you don't see a body. You don't see at least your legs when you jump.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a Bethesda game yet, so
I think the main
expect it.
Yeah, I think the main reason they do that though is to save on processing.
Yeah,
it does.
There's so much else that you should be focusing on than your feet.
I mean, I get your point, right?
If you got like a foot fetish, then I mean, hey, but other than that, there's no other reason to see your feet.
I believe in immersion.
That's what I say.
And if I look down and I don't see a body, I'm not really immersed anymore.
And that's valid.
That's fair. That is a valid point.
But that's just something I wonder about. Oh, but did you know, speaking of bodies, you can hide your suit when you're in colonies or in breathable atmospheres.
You can?
That's cool. Yeah.
Yes.
I actually saw that as well.
One of the screens they show when they're showing the deep dive, one of them had down, if you looked at the bottom of the screen, you could see press this button to hide suit. That's actually going to be pretty cool. That way you're not just walking around in your suit all the time in atmosphere you can breathe, or when you're in colonies, you can actually wear an outfit.
That makes sense. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually something when I read that and I saw that, I was like, sweet, not just hiding a helmet, but you're hiding the whole suit. That'll make things a lot more interesting.
So I can have my ninja dogi underneath my suit and whip it out?
But can you look down and see how swag you really look? That's the question.
Damn it, stop bringing that back. You're hurting my feelings. Also, something I wanted to bring up is a few episodes back, we were talking about how talking and being whatever you choose for like your traits and stuff can affect your choices and conversations. Well, that is true. Persuasion checks are where those skill-based stuff is, and these persuasion checks. They've turned the persuasion checks and those kind of actions into a mini game where you have to build up a certain number of things. It reminded me more of Oblivion, where you could highlight your answers and see the person's face change. So they're bringing that back in their game, and that's actually going to be interesting.
I don't remember seeing that.
I think it was Oblivion. But yeah, when you when you highlighted the option of what you wanted to select for your conversation, you could actually see the face of the NPC you're talking to change on whether they liked or hated what you were going to say.
Okay.
I remember that in Oblivion, but then I completely...
Hasn't been in any other game since then.
Forgot that I remembered it until you just brought it up. Right? It's been a while since I've played Oblivion.
Yeah, but that'll be cool. If it'll be cool to have it more of a mini game instead of you just selecting something and you say it. Now you got to build up the conversation to get what you want.
Okay, what about one thing I'm curious is that they always have some way in all their games a little mini game for unlocking locks. So this is the future. I'm assuming it's going to be hacking. I'm just curious how that's going to look on this game.
All of a sudden, they pull out the old bobby pin and
you got the old school like padlock you're trying to pick.
No, that's going to be the one lock you can't get through because you have all this modern technology and you forgot how to pick a lock.
Never mind my plasma torch that I use to mine minerals.
You open up. You go to open a lock and a little game of Minesweeper pops up and you have to beat it to open the lock. You're like, what?
God, I hate that game.
Oh, the new generation would never, ever open a lock. They just wouldn't be able to do it.
When I was in the Navy, I had a guy that was my shop supervisor. He was sat there on Minesweeper and beat it multiple times and was just clicking really fast. You ask him how he can see what's going on, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I played it so much. What I see on the screen, I just instinctively know what to click."
I used to be really good at Minesweeper when I was younger too. I was
never good at it
in class because it was like the only game you could play on those old computers.
Yeah, when I was first doing IT, that was like the only game available. So when I was sitting there doing nothing, I played Minesweeper.
Solitaire was my jam.
Back when the world was still black and white.
Watch it.
I played Minesweeper.
Boom.
This was pre-Oregon Trail, guys. Pre-Oregon Trail.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. Hey, Oregon Trail now has a card game, all right?
I played Minesweeper on my floppy disks.
Hey, it was preloaded to Windows, all right? Come on now.
It was Oregon Trail that was preloaded to floppy disks.
All right, so they did release a live-action trailer, and I got to admit, at the GamesCom, so you haven't seen it, check it out. It's actually really cool. I thought it was really, really good CGI. I didn't realize it was actually live-action until after.
Yeah,
I had to go look at it.
Well, when I saw the video, it says it was titled, Bethesda releases new live action Starfield trailer. So I kind of that gave it away for me. But.
I didn't see that. I saw a GamesCom trailer.
You know what that means, right? They now have no reason to make a live-action series in the Starfield universe.
No reason not to.
Yeah, no reason not to.
That's what I was trying to say. I probably said the wrong words.
That's okay. You know, I messed up, 4 times now in this episode?
A live-action series based on Starfield. You mean they're going to make a new season of Firefly?
Oh.
Oh. Are you going to base it in the UC or Freestar Collective?
I believe that's over by the Freestar Collective. Where it's like the Old West. Yeah, that's the Old West is in the Freestar.
Yeah, I would be cool with that.
Yeah. Firefly, the new series. Starfield. Firefly Starfield. There you go.
We got 2 emails. Well, one of them was a Twitter, and one was an email. You guys want to pick up the first one?
Yeah, we got Dr. Zayas, I believe. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name. He says, "Hello, crew. The premium edition of Starfield includes the featured DLC entitled Shattered Space Story Expansion. When I hear Shattered Space, I think of a dimensional rift in space. This expansion could introduce our first true alien sentient race in the form of an extra-dimensional beings. What are your thoughts?"
Honestly, when I see Shattered Space, what we talked about earlier comes to mind. Another war.
Yep, that's what I think of when I hear Shattered Space,
That
especially
is exactly
when you know the
what I was
timeline.
thinking. That when I first saw that it came with that expansion, named that, I was like, oh, so we're going to have another colony war.
Yeah.
That was like my first thoughts. And we did touch on the alien sentient race quite a bit in the last one, but like, I don't know. I'm still of the opinion that we're already going to run into some sentient races that are intelligent throughout the universe. I could be wrong, but I know there's at least snake people out there. We've seen them in the trailers, so...
Here's a little offshoot thought for you guys. They bring it up as a story expansion. Do you think we're going to have, like, minor expansions?
That's a tough one. They might do something small, but I would want them to do, like, stick with the bigger DLC expansions. That way they can focus on making quality expansions.
Well, have they done that in any of their other games?
Well, they did
Like
little minor
little
things
patches?
in Skyrim, but they did have those big content ones. That some of them did actually wind up changing different aspects of the game. Like Skyrim lets you build a house.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, it would be nice if they do release some type of, like, you know, patches with extra story and, like, some free content that isn't going to be a pay for DLC.
But we also know Bethesda loves their mod sector, so they'll probably just let them focus on the smaller stuff, and then Bethesda themselves come out with the big DLCs.
The big story.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah.
Having a separate team doing like little minor content patches.
I mean, at the moment, I'm not super concerned with it because, I mean, we already have 1,000 hours worth of content to try and get through.
Valid.
So, I plan on sometime in the next 8 weeks at least getting some sleep. So I think I'll be working on that 1,000 hours of content for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Find out the DLC adds another 500 hours of content.
I'm assuming it's going to take me like 6 months to get through my first playthrough at least.
1 year later, we still haven't gone through our place. When I read Shattered Space, though, it doesn't make me think of the Colony War. It makes me think of a multiple system spanning war with probably all three major factions going at it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. I wasn't really thinking another colony war.
Just a giant space war.
Yeah, I think Rogue's right on the money on that.
A giant war in the stars.
That shatters space-time.
We got a question from Twitter. You want to get this one, Rogue?
Hey, Yard Sale 99. Thanks for the second message. This one's from Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter. Yard Sale 99 on there says, I wonder if there will be planets or moons that I can stand on do the cinematic Steadicam panoramic shot that they keep showing on the teasers. Now, my experience with most of their games, yes, there will be plenty of planets and moons you can stand on and do these cool shots.
I don't think it's going to be specific to any particular planet. I think it's something you can do at any time you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they've already confirmed that there is a camera in the game where you can take pictures and things like that. So I don't see why not. Like,
yeah, they mentioned that in the deep dive.
He did mention, and I didn't put it in the show notes, like talking about how he wants rubies or diamonds to glitter around him. I don't know about that.
That one, I don't know. That one, would depend upon your computer's processing power. It would probably tax out the Xbox Series X's processing power. But I would love to get a shot where you're standing over water and you see the ripples of the water. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
I could
you
see.
actually brought up a good point with the whole rubies and diamonds thing. That also reminds me that if there's crafting in this game, which obviously there is, then that 1,000 hours of gameplay just turned into about 2,000 for me. I get so lost in crafting.
I was thinking the same thing, but based on the shipbuilding and the base building. I'm going to wind up having like 10 different bases at least.
I wonder how big your bases can get.
There is a limit.
Widget knows firsthand, like, I like crafting things. And it's why, still to this day, years and years and years later, I still play Minecraft when I have time and I'm waiting for a game like StarCraft to come out.
Yeah.
And need something to play, I jump on Minecraft and I just like craft things and farm resources and if that's part of this game, which I know it is, then man, I'm gonna have a hard time just following the story. I'm gonna get so lost in all the other stuff.
Yeah, one thing that Hines was mentioning in his interview was like how what gets you in this game is that you're free to do whatever you want. And he says he'll wind up going and building bases for hours and hours and hours on end, getting resources, and completely forgets about the story. And then goes to a city, and he goes to a city just to see how long he could stay in that city, doing the content in that city.
By the way, I got to ask you, Archon, when is the next StarCraft coming out?
The next Starcraft.
You said StarCraft.
Dude, that was another game that too long.
Yeah.
Reminiscing about the old times. We need to get back onto these young whippersnapper games.
Well, guys, I think that's going to do it for our show today. Just a reminder, we are going to be having a normal recorded episode next Friday, and that's going to be like kind of a half episode, the pre-release, and then we're going to be doing the 0.5 episode, which will come out either Monday or Tuesday following. And if you guys want to reach out to us, you can email us at any time with your comments, questions, concerns, and that's going to be starfieldраw@gmail.com. You can follow us on X at starfieldраw. You can follow me if you are inclined to do so, and that is at the widget. That's WIGIT.
Don't forget, we also got Facebook. You can always hit us up on there. Either me or Archon are always active on Facebook. Or if you want to hit me up on X, formerly known as Twitter, you can hit me up at Rook213.
Or you can find me on X at thearchon606. I want to give a quick shout out to our listeners. Thank you guys so much. We had over 1,000 downloads this week alone already, and it's blowing up, and it's because of you guys. And we love each and every one of you. Keep sending in your emails. We love talking about them on the show.
2,000 total so far, a little over.
Yeah.
We're loving it.
Can't do it without you.
And the game's not even out yet. All right, guys. So that is it for our show this week. Have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
See you next week, guys.
Peace out.